Yo, what's up with it, everybody, man? It's your boy Rick, man. Hey, this is LIB Media. I'm back, man. I know we ain't dropped the video in a minute, man. So I'm here to just pretty much. I'm gonna do a catch up video, man. Um, my bad, y'all. I know I look kind of crazy. Just finished working out, man. Everybody out there try to stay healthy, man. Try to stay in shape. As you get older, man, you definitely gonna need that, man. So, um, shout outs to everybody that's out there, working out, trying to stay in shape and do good, man. But back to what I was talking about. So it's two main things that I've been hearing from the time, me and Cuzzo been gone that really has been taking over the whole sports world, right? So let's talk about these two things. I can give y'all my thoughts on these two things that's going on. So the first one is, let me do this. That's not what I wanted to do. Um, yeah. So let's start here, man. So Cheryl Swoops has been all over the internet with people like Stephen A. Um, who else? Shannon Sharp, Nancy Lieberman, just people. Monica McNutt, just women. Big, huge sports women and huge sports male figures have been all over the internet because everybody's talking about Clark, right? So I'm gonna just say this point blank period. Clark should win Rookie of the Year. That's fine. But now it's this ongoing thing of everybody trying to be right. Now Cheryl Swoops is a legend. For y'all who don't know who Cheryl Swoops is, she's a legend. She's a legend at Texas Tech. She set a ton of records. Whenever she played collegiate women's basketball, she was on an Olympic team, I believe, as well. And they won gold. She might have been on more than one, but I know she won one gold at least. And she's been making a lot of comments lately about how she felt about Clark in college as she was breaking records, and then how she's been feeling about her in the WNBA. The thing about her comments are that when she makes a comment and she's kind of wrong, she doesn't want to backtrack on it. And so it comes off as hate. Now, we all sports fans on this channel, right? We all have biases to teams that we like, players that we like, et cetera, right? And you can tell that she has a like for certain players and a certain play style, and Caitlin Clark is not one of them. Hey, I have no gripes with that. My problem starts to be where, okay, you can have a preference, but you can't ignore other things that's going on, right? So to give y'all an example, it's almost like you can have Kevin Durant fans and you can have Giannis, the Greek freak fans, right? They played basketball totally differently, right? Or let's just keep it on that. You have Angel Reese fans and you have Caitlin Clark fans, right? Me, I don't really have a preference. Angel Reese is doing her thing. She getting the boards. I'm a big fan of people that get the boards. I believe getting the boards and playing good defense is a part of basketball. She's setting a lot of rebounding records. Caitlin Clark is setting assist records, scoring. Like she's kind of figured out the WNBA and figured out her role. The Indiana Fever is now even in the playoffs and all that. So that's all good. But it's two different play styles. It seems like Cheryl Swoops has a preference in her play style in Angel's play style. So she bigs Angel up while also tearing Caitlin down. Man, look, I'm not here to do the whole like race thing and all of that stuff because that ain't really me. Like I'm not here for any of that. If somebody's playing good and they're getting recognition for it, you can't really be mad at it. And the fact of the matter is, does the sales tell you what's happening? Caitlin Clark has taken the WNBA by storm. She's the reason why a bunch of people are watching the sport, and you got to give credit to that. Has Angel contributed to that? Yes. Camila Cadosa, Rakia Jackson, all these, Cameron Brink, all these young stars are hitting the WNBA at the right time. Boom, that's fair. But the main thing is Caitlin Clark. She got the jersey sales. The Indiana Fever got the televised the televised games. You having players on other teams saying, hey, they're saying, hey, like Indiana Fever jerseys are in our stadium, like where our fans at, like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no hate, because we all know who the best WNBA player is. A'ja Wilson, shout out to South Carolina, of course, you know what I'm saying? But she's the best player in the league, and it's not close, right? Like, we all understand that she's going to win MVP again, and the Aces got a chance to three-peat. But I just feel like my total preference on it is just like, if you don't preference a player, cool, but you got to show respect in the moment of what the player is doing. Like, people thought it was going to be a long time for Caitlin's game to translate. It looked like she's translating faster. She has been facilitating well since she got in the W, and now she's finding her shot. She's finding her range, and now she's scoring with it. She has her team playing better, and now they can upset somebody in the playoffs. Like, if you kind of sleeping on them, they seem like they kind of figured it out. And so, just shout out to Cheryl Swoops, man. I just wish that people can keep things just straight up sports, and if someone is doing something amazing in a sport, give them the credit, man, and just leave it at that, man. People like Stephen A. Shannon don't run around gloating, oh, I was telling you. Like, man, this isn't a I told you so thing, man. This is sports talk. We just having a conversation. Okay, boom, you was right. Yeah, you said X, Y, Z, you was right, cool. But at the same time, Angel is also doing X, Y, and Z, and that's cool too. You know what I'm saying? And it's just great for the WNBA as a whole, where it's just growing, becoming this big brand. And hopefully, man, these ladies can start getting paid a lot more money, because they're getting a lot more shine, and they're out there now. And so you got more fans. Even myself, as I told y'all in previous videos, this is really my first year kind of really watching the W. Like, I've seen WNBA games in the past, but this year I'm actually putting my best foot forward to watch games. Obviously, it's going to be a lot harder now with football season on, but, you know, I'm enamored, man, in the whole thing, man. So shout out to Cheryl Swoops. She will always be a legend. Nothing she says is going to stop her from her stature as a collegiate woman, WNBA player, Hall of Famer, all of those things, man. So that's just my thoughts on that part, right? So now let me transition, right? The next big thing I've been seeing is Anthony Edwards made a statement, man. So let's go to the next thing, man, because this is also kind of ridiculous. All right. So Anthony Edwards, right, of the Minnesota Timberwolves, made a statement saying that he thought Michael Jordan was the only skilled player in his era. And you had a bunch of people like Magic Johnson jump in saying stuff that genuinely don't matter. You got Kevingarnett jump in. I love KG to death. Big Ticket is one of my favorite basketball players of all time. He jumped in. He was saying some things that made sense. You got Stephen A. jumping in. He's not really saying nothing, right? So here's my thoughts on this whole thing. I know that I saw not the entire interview, but I saw the whole clip where Anthony Edwards started off by saying he didn't watch the 90s. Now, y'all, let me look this up, because I want to be correct when I say this. Anthony Edwards is 23 years old. He was born in 2001. So you can't blame him for not watching 90s basketball when he was born, when it was already over. Like, are people not thinking this through? He was born in 2001. So by the time he probably started watching basketball, he probably was catching Kobe at the end of his career, and the players he already said his favorite player is Kevin Durant. So that makes sense, because now when he's a teenager, one of the best players in the league is Kevin Durant. I've seen newer players say their favorite player is Paul George, because when they were teenagers, these were the players they were seeing entering the NBA. So him making that statement it's no need to jump on it, because he straight up starts off by saying, I didn't watch it. Okay. Now we got that out the way, right? That he clearly didn't watch it. And so he's just saying that because Michael Jordan was the big name back then, X, Y, and Z. Okay. Magic Johnson. When Magic Johnson is like, oh, I don't talk to players that don't got rings. Magic, that literally has nothing to do with the argument, bro. Like, now you just straw man and you're attacking a point that he's not talking about. He's talking about skill set. Magic was a great passer. Magic was not a great scorer. He was not a great shooter. Magic scored because of his ability to pass and his size. So Magic being 6'9", he could score over smaller guards when he had the mismatch, right? And when he's coming down on the fast break and you know Magic wants to pass, when he fakes to somebody, it's an easy layup for him, right? Magic didn't have a great skill set outside of passing the ball. He wasn't even a great dribbler, but he was great at creating space between him and the defender. So you can tell why Magic got frustrated by it, because obviously he kind of understands what he's really talking about, but Magic don't want to say it. What he's really talking about is your ability to shoot, pass, dribble, cross, you know what I'm saying? Like, move without the ball. These are things that happen in today's NBA that did not happen a lot back then. When Michael Jordan was doing it, it was not a lot of that happening at the same time. This is what I will say about 90s basketball. Was Michael Jordan the only skilled player? No, that's clearly not true. There were other skilled players. I believe Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, who I think is the best center to ever play basketball, because he was the most skilled center. You have players in my era of basketball going to Hakeem to train with him, to learn his moves, to learn the dream shake, because he was that skilled in the post. He was that skilled off the glass. So people went to him for advice and to learn how to do what he was doing. I think that this whole thing has gotten blown out of proportion, because then you had KG start breaking down basketball only on a level that he would understand about the eras and how, like, things that players do in today's NBA, they would have not been able to do back then. And it's like, KG, all of those are valid points, but let's all be real with ourselves and understand one thing. As we all get older, it's a fact that the generations behind us are going to get better. If they don't get better, that means it's almost as if a link in the chain was broken, right? If you watch basketball in the 50s, the players in the 50s aren't doing what Kyrie Irving can do with a basketball today. That's just a part of the growth of anything. Like, when something starts off, no matter what it is, let's say you go to build a car. A car from 1960 is not going to beat a 2020 any car. I don't care if it's a van, a truck, a pickup truck. That 2020 car has a better engine, has better exhaust. That's just how it works. Like, you have kids getting trained to be pros as children. You have NBA players training their kids. Carmelo was training his son. LeBron was training his son. Gilbert Arenas is training his son. They're teaching them NBA stuff at a young age. So by the time they get to the NBA, they're going to add things on to their game. So the skill level is going to look different. It's not because people in the past couldn't do it. Part of it was coaching. Like, hey, we ain't finna do all that fancy stuff. We finna pass, put the ball in the rim. Cool. That don't mean it wasn't people back in the past that couldn't dribble, like Rod Strickland or people like that. That didn't mean that it wasn't people in the past that could shoot, like somebody like Reggie Miller or something like that. These players also existed. You had good post people like Patrick Ewing and stuff like that. That doesn't mean that they didn't exist. What it means is that skill is supposed to develop. Right? If you're mentoring a young kid, you're going to give them all of your tools, and they're going to add to the tool shed and pass that on. And by the time they become pros or whatever level they stop at, they can then pass on the knowledge. That's all it is. And it was just young. He's young, and he doesn't have respect for something he didn't see. And that's okay. There were all things that happened before us. The 90s, our players can get mad, but then they had 80s players and 70 players. It's players in the 70s that ain't getting credit. That ain't getting the credit Michael Jordan got, but he had to learn from somewhere. He had to grow up watching basketball. He had to have a coach or a mentor. So I just think this whole thing, man, is clearly being blown out of proportion. And it was as young. And yes, they were skilled players in the 90s. They definitely were. The rules have changed. Basketball is different. The NBA wants to score more points by default. That means the players then have to be more skilled. The bench players are going to play more minutes, right? Because of the high pace of the game for the starters. And so the person on the end of the bench now, he can shoot the three ball, or you can be a power forward and shoot the three now. Back then, power forwards didn't shoot the three. It's just little things like that where it's just a different era and it's a different thing. So is the skill better overall? Yes. Is it better by circumstance as well? Yes. The circumstances have changed. And so that's my thoughts on those two things, man. I just wanted to do a catch-up video, man. I know I was gone for a while, man. So I just wanted to try to get back on here. And those were the two biggest things that were happening. Like I tell y'all, football season is upon us now. So we will be in full effect for football season, college, NFL. As the WNBA wraps up, we're gonna have to be on that too. And y'all just let us know in the comments, man, if there's anything that y'all want us to talk about. Hopefully, Kazo can hop back on here soon, man, because that'll be great. But for the time being, man, this your boy Rick, man. This is LIB Media, man. Like, comment, subscribe, man, and I'm out of here. Peace.